audible to you? Yes or no? Thank you. Now, this one unit we have finished about solution of non-linear scientific equations through, you know, various procedures. How many different techniques we have discussed here in this unit? Who will tell me? To solve the non-linear scientific equation? Who will tell me? No one is going to speak. कोई बोलने वाले नहीं है आप लोग में से? And one more. Okay, fine. ठीक है. Now we go to the next point, which is about interpolation. So let's try it. Next point is interpolation. That's the next point here. Okay. So the first question is, what is interpolation? See, suppose you are given some set of values. Let's take, I'll take one variable as time, the other variable as, say, room temperature. I might have discussed earlier, I don't remember. Time T and room temperature big T. Time T. Suppose that say 10 o'clock room temperature is say 19 degrees Celsius, for example. At 11 o'clock, say room temperature 21 degrees Celsius. At 12 o'clock, 12 noon, let's say room temperature is 24 degrees Celsius. At 1 o'clock, again say room temperature is, let's consider 23 degrees Celsius. At 2 o'clock, let's consider room temperature, for example, again say 22 degrees Celsius. At 3 o'clock, let's consider room temperature be 21.5 degrees Celsius, and so on. Okay, you are given some data value here. Okay, set of data you are given here. Now, with the help of interpolation here, if you are given the set of values, with the help of interpolation, you can answer the question like this. What will be the approximate room temperature, say around 10 o'clock and 10 minutes? For example, what will be approximate room temperature at, for example, say 1 o'clock and 20 minutes? Okay, so what I'm doing, I'm choosing the values within this range which are not given in this table. What's the range here? Data range for the time. It starts from 10 and maximum value is till 3. Okay, so my first question is, if you are given the time here 10 o'clock and 10 minutes, what's the corresponding room temperature? So you are given one variable small t, you are finding the corresponding value of the parameter t, the another variable t. One more question, for example, if you are given this, what's the room temperature at 11:30? So you are given the value of one parameter t. From this range, you will find the corresponding value of t. Right? And the values which I'm choosing here, you see, or the values which I have selected here, 10.10, then 10.30. These values are from this range, starting from 10 to 3 maximum. With the help of interpolation, you cannot answer what is the room temperature at 4 o'clock. 4 o'clock is not in the range of the values of the one variable here. It's outside the range. So from the range of one parameter, one variable, if you are given one non-tabular point means what? The point which is not given in the table data. Then you can find, you can estimate, you can approximate the corresponding variable. Your corresponding variable is room temperature. All these questions you can answer through the interpolation. So what's the interpolation? It is one procedure, or you can say it's a method, or you can say it's a statistical procedure, because you are going to use some set of points. You are going to use the data. So if you are given some data, maybe here I have just chosen how many set of values, 6 7 values. You may have 100 data, you may have 1000 data, you may have any number of data. So from the given set of values, we find the value of, this is sometimes called, you might be knowing, this is called dependent variable, or we can find, or we can estimate the value of one variable from the given value of one variable, right? That's what the interpolation. We have some procedure here through which we state the interpolation expressions, interpolation formula, through which you can estimate the value of one variable from the given value of another variable. So let me write here, writing here, what is interpolation that I want to write. So interpolation is a procedure, or you can write method, or statistical method is a procedure of finding, or you can just write estimating, finding or estimating the value of one variable from the given value of the other variable. Both way you can do. You can do reverse also in interpolation. If you are given a room temperature, you can get the corresponding time also. If you know one, the other can be predicted from interpolation technique. Right? It's type of uh, forecasting, more or less. Not exactly forecasting. In the forecasting, you can predict the future value outside the range also. Here we are not talking about the outside the range. Within the range, if you are given one non-tabular point, then you can find the corresponding value of the other variable. You can estimate, you can predict about the value of the other variable from the given value of the variable within the range of the given set of points, that is given data set. Right? So what's the interpolation? It's a procedure or a method of estimating or finding the value of one variable from the given value of another variable. Both way it can be done. If you are given, for example, if you are two sets, data set like x and y. So if you are given x, you can find the y. Even vice versa, it can be done. If you are given y, you can get the x also. Reverse can be done also. Both way it is possible, but mainly it is a type of prediction, estimating. If you have more number of data, the estimation will be more accurate. If you have less number of data, that prediction may not be that much accurate. Depends upon the data set. If I take only some finite number of values or finite number of data for some relationship, your prediction or your approximations or your estimation may not be that much accurate. But if you have more number of values, that gives you the better approximation. Clear everybody with this? Yes and no? आप लोग कुछ बोलेंगे कि कुछ बोलेंगे नहीं?
Yes.
क्या आप सब घर पे बैठे हैं तो वहां पे बोल नहीं सकते, ऐसा कुछ है क्या? Fine. So this is what we understand by interpolation. So if you have two variables, like for variables, let me write like this. For two variables, say x and y, that is your two data set with this relation, with relation. This relation means what? Here, y depends upon x through certain relationship. That means here, if you have x, you can get the y like this. So these are the xi values, which is x1, x2, and so on. Say you have n points. And for the other variable, this is called the dependent variable. And here it is independent variable. Y depends upon x here. Okay. Say corresponding values are this y1, y2 up to yn. This depends upon the relationship. Now, what we can do with the help of interpolation, if you are given any x, for any x that may be between, say, for example, x1 and x2, right? So it is one intermediate value. Intermediate value means what? This is not given in the, this is not given in the, not given in the what? Data set. Yes. Then for any x from this, for any x from this, that is here I've chosen between x1 and x2. With the help of interpolation, using interpolation, you can approximate the corresponding value. Using interpolation, we can find corresponding value. Right, as I explained in this example. If you look at here, what will be the value of your room temperature T at time 10 o'clock and 10 minutes? How do you find the corresponding room temperature? If you are given 10 o'clock and 30 minutes, how do you find the corresponding room temperature? If you are given one more time, for example, say 1 o'clock and 9 minutes, for example. If you are given this is small t, time t, then how will get the corresponding room temperature? All these questions you can answer precisely with the help of interpolation. Right? So these values can be obtained. You will see once we discuss some theory, you will realize this we can find with the help of interpolation. We can find using interpolation. Right? Okay, it's one statistical procedure. You require some data, and with the help of data, if one is not known to you, you can get the value by using one value of a variable. Okay, so we need some theory development here. So before we state some interpolation expressions or interpolation theory, we need to define some basic differences, which are called finite differences here. So I'll write here first. Let's write here. That's about finite differences. We'll use these differences to develop the interpolation formulas, you will see. And with the help of interpolation formulas, we'll again come back to the same data point, we'll answer all the questions. You can answer these questions very easily with the help of interpolation formula. Okay, so what we'll do is we start with, as I explained, in the interpolation you require some finite set of points. So we start with this. Let's start with this y1, y2, and so on up to yn. The n values, these are the n values of y equals to fx corresponding to x1, x2 up to xn respectively. Okay. So what we understand by this, you have the tabular data. You have the table as I've shown here. You can see here. You have such table. For x1, the corresponding value is y1. x2, the corresponding value is y2. And xn, the corresponding value is yn. Such data set you are given. Every time in interpolation, you require such data set. So we have this. The first we write here, which is about forward differences. So let's write this forward differences. These are the differences about yi's, values of this variable y. So here, these differences. These are the successive differences. You just look at this table, you'll realize we write like this: y2 minus y1, then y3 minus y2, and so on. These are the successive differences. So let me write here. We have this y2 minus y1. The next one we have here y3 minus y2. The next we have here y4 minus y3, and so on. If you want, you can write the last one, that is yn minus yn minus 1. Is it? We have the successive differences. These are the differences on yi's. आप यहाँ पे देखो, you just look at it, look at this column, you will realize easily y1, y2, y3, and so on yn. Then what's the first difference here? That is y2 minus y1. What's the second difference? That is nothing but y3 minus y2, and so on. That's what I've written. Last में क्या होगा? Here. What about the last one? What about the last one? It is nothing but the yn minus 1. Correct, no? So these are the forward differences of first order. They are usually denoted by this symbol, delta y1. Then this is delta y2. And so here, let me write one more, delta y3, and so on. Finally, this is delta yn minus 1. Of course, you will be having one less number of first order forward differences. If you have 3 points, then there will be 2 differences. If you have 4 points, then there will be one less, that is 3 differences. Here you had how many points? N points. The number of differences will be n minus 1. Okay? So it starts from here, y1, delta y1, then delta y2, delta y3, and so on. The symbol is not important. What you are doing here, you are just taking successive differences about yi's. इसमें x का कोई काम नहीं है. We are not using variable x at all here. We are just considering differences about yi's only. What are the differences here? Who will repeat? कौन repeat करेंगे differences मैंने जो लिखा हो? बोलो. जेमिनी बोल चल तू. Sloka, can you repeat this?
Yes, sir. So these are the first order forward differences where delta y1 equal to y2 minus y1, delta y2 equal to y3 minus y2, delta y3 equal to y4 minus y3, and delta yn minus 1 equal to yn minus 1.
These are the successive differences about what? yi's or xi's? yi's. Yes. Okay. So we have this. Okay. Now, what we'll do? We again continue the same procedure. That's the inductive procedure actually. We again find the differences of these differences. So now, what I'll do? These are called right here. These are called first order forward differences. Okay. Now we find again differences of this. So we have this now, delta y1, then delta y2, and so on. So we continue with the same procedure. It's just induction as you did in the previous case. So how do we write this? Next one, delta y2 minus delta y1. Next, delta y3 minus delta y2. Term minus previous term. Yeah, term minus the previous difference. Difference minus, वहाँ पे वही क्या था? You did the same thing here. Variable minus first one, previous one. So here delta y3 minus delta y2. The next, you can write here, let me write delta y4 minus delta y3. How do we denote this? You just need to increase the index here. There it was just delta, so here it is delta square y1. What about this? Delta square y2. What about this? Delta cube, sorry, y cube, y delta square y3. Delta square y3, and so on. You can continue. These differences will be again one less than the previous one. Okay, suppose beginning if you have 4 points here, if I have such 4 points, then the first order will be here 1, 2, and 3 only. Because this minus this minus this, and this minus 3. These are the first order. Now if you find the next order, it will be one less of what you had in previous case. So iska here 1, and from this you will have 1. So these are called second order forward differences. Are called second order forward differences. एक और बार आप करेंगे तो again it will be one less of what you have in previous case. So if I do one more time here, let me write one more. These are nothing but which order forward differences now? कौन सा order का forward differences आएगा? Now it will be of
third order.
Yes. So this is delta square, y1, y2 minus delta square y1. So this is nothing but the delta cube y1. Fine. The next one, now again you took the difference of these two, no? Delta square y2 minus delta square y1. Now again the difference of these two, that is delta, okay, let me write here, delta square y3 minus delta square y2. Fine. So this is nothing but the delta cube y2. And so on. You can continue. These are nothing but our third order forward differences. Now you have realized what we are doing. Okay? Third order forward differences. This is about first order differences. Then you have followed the same procedure. It's just repetition, induction of what you did in the previous one. y2 minus y1. Here you have what we have here. क्या क्या आपने जो differences find किया उसका वापस किया. So this is delta y2 minus delta y1, which are nothing but the second order. Then delta cube y1, that is this one, delta square y2 minus this, and so on. These are the third order forward differences. You can write in general index. So in general, you can write like this. Forward difference at yi of jth order in form of I and j. There is a general notation, right? So what about the right hand side? Right hand side we have one less index. See here, if you have third order, right hand side is in form of second order. Here you had second order, right hand side is in form of first order. So here you have one less index. Here it is a jth order, so यहाँ पे j minus 1 order. What about this? यहाँ पे क्या लिखूँ मैं? Can anyone help me? What I should write here about this variable y? You just observe from these three differences, immediately will realize. See here, 1 then 2, 2 then 3, 3 then 4. 1 then 2, 2 then 3, 3 then 4. 1 then 2, 2 then 3. तो क्या लिखूं मैं बताऊं? What I should write? Tell me please.
yi plus 1.
Yes, so it is I plus 1. And what about this? Here is the same index, that is yi. Right? This is a general index for, forward difference at yi of which order? Last में कौन सा order मैंने लिखा? Of which order? कौन सा order लिखा? Jth order. On the other side you have one less order, that is j minus 1th order. Fine. If I write in form of table, आपको और थोड़ा clarity आएगा देखो. Written up to this.
Yes.
Shall I go to next page? Next करूँ मैं?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So here, this is sometimes called forward difference table. Let me write here. This is forward difference table. Forward difference table. Okay. So we just consider, say, for example, here in data set, let's take how many points? 4, 5 points. Let's take 4 points. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Just for our convenience, I've chosen 4 points here. Say corresponding value of the other variable are this. Okay. Now here in the first column, I'll write the first order forward difference, that is delta yi. How do we write it? y2 minus y1 we write here. y1 देखो 1 symbol है यहाँ पे, delta y1 इसलिए ये position पे लिखा, which is this minus this. फिर next one is delta y2 over here. Next one is delta y3 which is over here. Previous column था उसका successive differences ले लिया और कुछ नहीं किया. What you have taken? Just successive differences on y's. Difference means what? Term minus the previous term. Okay? Term minus the previous term. How many points you had? 4. Here how many differences? 3. Now go for next order. So delta square yi. So what will have? This minus this करेंगे तो ये होगा again delta square y1. अब देखो यहाँ पे y1 से चालू किया आपने. Okay, this y1, here you have y2. So everywhere you are starting with y1. Okay. What about the next one? y3 minus y2. So ये होगा delta square y2 here. And now you can find one more here because still you have 2 more differences. So if you find the next one here, delta cube yi, yes. So here there's a third order. Delta cube yi, which is what about this? Delta square y2 minus delta square y1, which is delta cube y1. Right? So this is called sometimes forward difference table. This way, you can prepare the forward difference table. Here you have 3, then next you have 2, and finally you have 1. Now further you cannot find. Fourth order forward differences cannot be obtained here because maximum points are 4 here in our case. So you have 1 less 3, 1 less 2, and 1 less 1. Okay. If I would have chosen 5 here, then you can find fourth order forward difference also. Okay, chicken. Yes or no?
Yes.
Okay. Now we write the next, which are called here backward differences. So the next one we want to write is our forward differences. Now next we write which are known as backward differences here. So let me write that. forward differences. The next one, that is backward differences. Okay. You will realize once we use the interpolation, what's the difference between this two and why we need this. Okay. So here we take the same differences will be same a, but the way of presenting is little bit different here. Difference का definition ही है. Let me write first. Y2 minus y1, then y3 minus y2. The next one, that is y4 minus y3, and so on, and so on. Last one, that is yn minus 1. But here it starts from 2. First is not there. वहाँ पे first था देखो. So way of writing or way of presenting these differences are different than the previous one. So it is this reverse triangle. It starts from this. This is read as nebula y2. How do you read this? कैसे पढ़ेंगे हम लोग? How do we read this? How do we read this? बोलो. Yes, the next one, that is nebula y3. First one नहीं आप देखो. Then nebula y4, and so on. Finally, you have nebula yn. First one is not there. वहाँ पे क्या था? Last one नहीं था देखो. What about the last one? That is delta yn. यहाँ पे देखो n minus 1 तक जा रहा है. First to n minus 1. Here second to n. You realize? So way of writing, once I prepare the table for this, you will realize the way of presenting this is different. सब कुछ बदल जाएगा आप देखेंगे. Even though definitions are more or less same for all differences. Okay, these are nothing but which order are called which order are called first order backward differences. Okay. Now next, we can do inductively here. So how do we write it? Nebula y3 minus nebula y2. जो वहाँ पे क्या था वही करना है. But here it will start from where? कहाँ से start होगा ये? How do you write it symbolically? Symbolically, nebula square. कहाँ से start होगा ये? From where it will start?
y3.
It will start from y3. You see here it had a same notation. 2 then 2, 3 then 3. So it starts from y3. The next one here, if I write y4 minus y3. So this is nothing but here nebula square y4. यहाँ पे पहले दो नहीं है. Right? यहाँ पे end में दो नहीं था, and so on. So these are called second order backward differences. Second order backward differences. Same way we can define for third order and so on. Higher order differences we can define. Now if I express in form of table, you will see the difference in this one and the previous one. Okay. So let me prepare the table here. So I'll write here backward difference table. Backward difference table. Okay. So again, like the previous case, we'll consider how many points here? 4 points: x1, x2, x3, x4. The corresponding values will be y1, y2, y3, and y4. Just for our convenience, we take 4 points. Then we write the first one here, which is nebula yi is here. So it will be this minus this, but it will start from here, nebula y2. Then this minus this, we write here nebula y3. This minus this, which is nebula y4. Right? Successive difference is ये देखो. This minus this, which I have written here. Let me write with here. Call line. Let me write. This is equals to, what is this? You know it is y2 minus y1. What is this? You know y3 minus y2. What is this? y4 minus y3. Right? Now go for next. What about next one? That is here nebula square yi. So here the first one was missing. Here first and second both are missing. When you write this minus this, so it will be here where the nebula square y3 आएगा directly. First two are not defined here. And then nebula square y4. सही लिखा मैंने? Is this correct? ये है ना? देखो, look at here. See. Okay, so here it will be, what will be this? This will be nothing but nebula y3 minus nebula y2. Fine. And what about this? यहाँ पे क्या होगा? What is this? y4 minus y12. Fine. And one more here. Now it is the last one. Third order backward differences. If you look at this, so here first three are not defined, and the finally last one is y4 minus y3, which is nebula cube y4. Last one, y1, y2, y3 are not there in this case. So it's a square y3, sorry, y4 minus square y3. So this way we can form this table. This is known as which table? Backward difference table. It's a presentation about this backward differences. The previous one, that was a presentation about forward differences. More or less definitions are same. Way of taking differences is same, but the presentations are different there and here. You can see that here this differences forms this upper triangular. The format is which one? The upper triangular format आ रहा है. देखा ना, upper triangle form हो रहा है. This one. And here you have this lower triangle. Format is this, the lower triangle. This one. That's a format. Right? That's a difference. You will see. How will distinguish these two? क्या difference है? You will realize. Wait for some time. आपको पता चलेगा कि दोनों definitions तो same ही हैं. Still, the working of both the differences you will realize later on is totally different. आपको पता चलेगा. Wait for some time. You will notice क्या difference है. Even though their definitions are same, they are just differences. Okay. Now one more finite difference which we want to write here, that is known as here. Let me write that, which is about divided differences. Here both the values are involved. So we define like this: y2 minus y1 upon x2 minus x1. Then y3 minus y2 upon x3 minus x2. And so on. You have yn minus 1 upon xn minus 1. Forward differences xi है मॉडल, but अब here xi's are involved here. अभी तक xi's का कोई यूज नहीं था